days, I'm pretty sure. So maybe if you Google like Good Days Nike sweatshirt or something, it'll pop up. I'm obsessed with it. It's super warm though, and it's a little hot in here. So, but I had to wear it because I'm actually gonna wear it to work today. It's Christmas decorating day in the office. For us anyway. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two, let's address the elephant in the room. Why am I making a vertical video? This, in my almost 8 years on YouTube, like 600 and something odd videos that I've made, this is the first vertical video I have ever made. So let me explain my thought process before we get into it, because you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. My thought process behind this video was I wanted to make it feel like we were on FaceTime. Now, I don't know about you, 99.9% of the time I watch ASMR videos, and really all YouTube videos that I watch on my phone. Literally like 99.9%. And the other day I was watching a video from 𝓢𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪. I don't know if that's still her new channel name, but she's been making videos longer than I have. If you are a real like OG in the ASMR, back then it was called the Whisper community, you probably know who I'm talking about. She still makes videos every once in a while, and I was watching her latest video and it was like 45-50 minutes long, and she was actually sharing a lot about her pregnancy experience. And I watched that whole video not because of the subject matter, simply because I loved the feel of the video. It was vertical style, so I made it full screen. This is what I want you to do too when you're watching this video. I made it full screen, and then I took my two little fingers and I kind of pinched and kind of expanded a little bit until it says at the top fit to screen, and it just kind of brings you in, and it literally, I felt like while I was holding my phone, I was FaceTiming with her, and it was cool. And then on top of that, you know, her voice, it was like a soft-spoken video, which I'm normally not really into, but I've just been watching her for years, and I don't know, she brings me comfort, so whatever. So I can link that video if you want to check out kind of what inspired this video, but I wanted it to feel like we were like gossiping on FaceTime, like we were friends. Okay, so that's my thought process. If you guys hate it, I'll never do it again. This is not something that I'm going to be doing regularly anyway, but I just wanted to try it out. I think Lily Whispers, like years ago, did something like this maybe, so I'm not claiming to be like the first person to do this, but I haven't seen one in a while aside from EQs, so I thought I would try it. Alright, so let's talk about what's been going on around here. Like I have said in the past, it's very quiet around here. People keep to themselves for the most part. There are a lot of elderly people that live here. Recently I've seen people more on the younger side, but for the most part it's a lot of elderly people that live here. So it's quiet, you know, you don't always see people, so there's not a lot to really like talk about. But there are a few things. So let me start off by saying the way that my building complex does it when it comes to like notices and news and whatever. One, they send it to you via email, but that same message that they send to your email, they also post next to every exit, like every exit door, every stairwell, next to the elevator on every floor, so it's almost like impossible to not see the notices. So the news, it's everywhere. It's hard, you can't miss it, which is why they do it that way, which I appreciate. So the first thing we'll talk about is, I had mentioned to you that the whole month of October and the beginning of November, I would say, there was construction going on. Yeah, they finished November 14th, I believe, or something like that. And they were doing construction on the outside of my building. And it took a really long time. It was ridiculously loud, and the back entrance had been closed all that time. So there are 3 other exits and entrances, but they all have stairs. The back one was the ramp, so that's the one that the elderly people would use. And I've actually felt really bad. Like, I'm sure there were a lot of people that could not leave the building because they couldn't do stairs. So they were trying to really speed up this process, right? So they allowed them to start working earlier in the mornings. They could work until 6 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. And they were allowed to work Saturdays as well. Yep, it was a lot. But they were doing it to kind of speed up the process because they were getting complaints. Like, I know that certain people that live here were calling the management office, were writing letters, because every time a new message would be posted, they would say, you know, we understand your frustration, you know, we're really trying to get this done faster, blah, 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 blah. So then they allowed them to start working super early in the mornings. There was one day, I'll never forget, they started at 7 a.m. And for people like me who work nights, I sleep because I go to bed late. So 7 a.m. was not working for me. I was actually so mad that day that I almost complained, and I'm not one to complain. And then Saturdays, people like to sleep in on Saturdays. And they were out there at 8 a.m. You know, it was rough. I get it. They were doing their job. But it was annoying. So, anyway, they finally got that done. Everybody's happy. It's actually, I can't even lie, it looks really, really nice. They even gave us like a new tree back there. They put up Christmas decorations. There's 2 pine trees, and they put colored lights around them. And then they put like 2 of those light up reindeer that you see in front of people's houses. That was very cute. I didn't think that they were going to do that. That was very nice. And I get to see it from my window. And every time I come in and out of the building. So I love that. Makes me happy. I'm hoping they decorate the front of the building, because the front of the building just looks plain. Looks like the same as always. So I hope they put like a wreath or something in the front. But it was kind of cool to like see the process, like from demolition of what was there before to then digging up the ground and then putting the foundation in the ground, and then like I've never seen anything like that before, from like start to finish construction wise. So like I look at the pavement, I look at the new path and everything, and I'm like, I know what's down there, like I know what it looks like. That might be a weird observation, but I think it's kind of cool. Drag racers, cool. So yeah, they did a good job. It's done, it's over. Hopefully people are happy. But what's funny is that in my very first neighborhood gossip video from this building, I told you that I met my neighbor who's directly across the hall from me. And the first time and one and only time I ever saw him, and we like locked eyes, he didn't say really anything. He didn't introduce himself, like nothing. He just kind of closed the door. And I was like, okay, like nice to meet you too. And I never saw him again. It's so windy outside and my windows are rattling. I'm sorry. But we're just gonna power through, bestie. Okay, just gonna continue on with the FaceTime. So since then, I'm like, oh my god, like he probably hates me. Like if I have people over, I was always paranoid about being too loud, you know, like all of that. So one day, I think it was like a week or 2 before the construction finished, and I was going to throw out my garbage like down the chute in the garbage room, and he was too, and we both opened our doors, I kid you not, at the exact same time. It was something like out of a TV show. Same time, and we were just face to face. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh god, here we go. But he actually turned out to be kind of nice. He introduced himself. We were chit-chatting a little bit. He told me his name. And I was like, where was this energy the first time we met? Like, maybe he didn't realize the first time that I was going to be his new neighbor, but it's like, dang, sir. I could tell that he was trying to cut the conversation short a little bit. Like, I kept bringing things up, and he was like, yeah, but then he would keep walking away. talking about like the construction. He was like, oh, I bet you're happy that they're done. And he was like, it's so loud, like my windows rattle from the other side of the building. And I'm like, yeah, like it's been rough. And you know, I was complaining about them starting so early, just like making small talk. And he was saying how there are people in the apartment that have complained to the board about them like starting so early and whatever. So maybe that's why there was only one time they started at 7 a.m. and then they never started that early again. So people were like complaining and writing letters, and yeah, like I understand wanting to get it done faster. I respect that. But 7 a.m. is too early to be literally digging up concrete. Like that's not a quiet thing. It was honestly one of the loudest things I've ever heard. So whatever, it's done, it's over, it looks good. I met my neighbor, he's nice. He did tell me that he works from home, so he is always home, which is what I thought, because I always hear, I don't know if it's his TV or whatever, but I always hear stuff when I'm in the hallway. Always, no matter what time of day it is. So I was right about that. I think he did say he lives alone, but I swear sometimes I hear a woman's voice sometimes, which, I mean, hey, unless it's his TV, I don't know. I'm just being nosy. But it's nice to know that he is nice. So now I know him across the hall and the guy diagonal from me. So, you know, at least I know their names. So if I, God forbid, like ever need something, or even if I just needed like an egg, or what's the stereotypical thing that you ask your neighbor for? Like sugar or something. At least I can address them by name and be like, hey, you know. And it is good to know that he is home, you know, all day, every day, because like my biggest fear, this is like a little side note, my biggest fear in the whole world right now is locking myself out of my apartment. Like every time I go do my laundry or throw out the garbage or the recycling or whatever, I always have a mini heart attack that I'm gonna lock myself out. I pray to God that day never comes. But it's nice to know that if I ever need to use a phone or something, I can just go across the hall. Because let's face it, that's something that I would do. 100% would leave my apartment and not take my keys. I've left my apartment to go to work in my slippers before, on multiple occasions. And I get to the stairwell and I'm like, something's not right here. And then I have to go back and change. So, leaving my keys inside is 100% something that I would do. Okay, what else? There was one more thing I wanted to tell you. Oh, this is, I feel like, the juiciest one. So, everywhere at my building, in multiple places, there are signs that say, no dogs allowed under any circumstances. You can have cats, you can have basically anything else other than dogs. Which, like, I get it, but also, like, cats smell. But whatever, no offense to my cat people. But, like, I get it. They don't want dog crap on the grass and whatever. I get it. I get it. But there are signs everywhere that say that. Cool. So, starting, like, in September, I would come home from work or leave from work or whatever, and I would hear barking. And the first time I heard it, I was like, no, that can't be. Or like maybe somebody is just like under the radar, like watching somebody's dog for a day or a couple hours or whatever. I'm not the type to like snitch or like rat anybody out, like whatever. Do you? But it wasn't just that one day that I heard it. And then there was another day, even my boyfriend was with me and he heard it and he pointed it out to me and he was like, is that a dog? And I was like, yeah, like that's the dog I've been hearing. So I don't hear him all the time now, but every once in a while I do hear yapping. It sounds like a small dog. I've had small dogs, so I know what yappers sound like. So like, cool. Fast forward to like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we get one of those notices. Comes to my email. It's outside the stairwells by the elevator. And it basically says that someone on my floor has like a service dog, an emotional support dog. And so, you know, the notice was saying, like, you know, they've had the proper paperwork done. It's legit, like, it's a real, like, support animal. So please, like, these people have been getting harassed. Like, please leave them alone. And I'm like, who is first of all, what do we mean by harassing? Is what I would pay to know what they mean by harassment. But yeah, it was saying that these people with the dog were getting harassed. You know, leave them alone. Bullying is not acceptable. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, what? Like that is tea water. So I don't know if people were like, my guess is the people next door or up or downstairs were like taking like a broom, you know, and like hitting the wall or hitting the ceiling. That's what my mom used to do back in the day when we lived in an apartment building. And the people upstairs were like running back and forth and making too much noise. My mom would take the broom and hit the ceiling until they stopped. It's like universal apartment language for shut up. So I could think maybe that's what's happening, or maybe somebody left them an anonymous note on their door like, hey, get rid of your dog. I don't know, something like that. So my thing is, I get it, you know, emotional support dog, cool, but like, is it mean of me to be like, train it? You know, like, make sure it's trained. Don't let it yap. You know, crate train it. Do something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because I get it. This is a building where dogs aren't allowed for a reason, and there are people that probably live here that picked this building because of that. Right? Maybe they don't like dogs. Maybe they're allergic. Maybe they had a bad experience living in an apartment with dogs and there was poop everywhere, or whatever. You know? I don't know. Like, I see both sides, because at the same time, though, like, if they do need that support animal, I don't know if it's emotional support or I don't know what kind of support it is, they didn't say, but, you know, if that dog is needed, then cool, you know, you do have a right to that. But then I also, you know, if they lived right next door to me, because they live, like, down the hall from me, so from in my apartment, my unit, I cannot hear it. I can only hear the dog from the hallway. But if I lived right next door to the dog, and that's all I heard, that would piss me off too. So, you know, I see both sides. But I will say, since that notice, I don't think I've heard the dog bark once. So, maybe it was like the kick in the butt that they needed. To be like, hey, shut your dog up. You know? So, I think that's all the tea I have. Nothing crazy else, like, really happens here. I keep to myself. I haven't really made, like, friends yet. I don't know if I ever will. There's not a lot of people my age, you know. A lot of people on my floor are